My name is Avery Whitlow, and I'm 28 years old. Competence isn't loud. It's the quiet spine that holds a day upright, appointments that land on time, groceries that become dinner without announcing themselves. I built a life like that and thought love would follow the same math. Invisible, sturdy, unfussy. It did, for a while, until the notifications began. At first, it was harmless, thumb-sized hearts from Jesse on my boyfriend's photos. Then came the replies. Then the DMs at hours that make good judgment feel like a rumor. I told myself not to be the jealous girlfriend. We lasted 2 years without policing each other's phones. But when the lock screen kept lighting up at 11:03 p.m., 1:41 a.m., 2:07 a.m., the math shifted. Curiosity became a reflex. We were watching a series on a Tuesday night when his phone buzzed again. Luca reached for it with the speed of someone who's dropped a match on a velvet couch. The preview flashed before he could tilt the screen away. Can't stop thinking about that night we... The message cut off, but the truth didn't need the last word. He looked up and caught the look on my face. Not a scream, not an accusation, just the kind of stillness that means a bridge is checking whether it's been overloaded. Avery, don't start, he said, already defensive. I haven't started anything, I said, voice level. I'm asking for a boundary. Please stop texting your ex, especially late at night. He scoffed like I'd asked him to switch religions. You don't own me, he said. I'm not property. I didn't say you were, I replied. I said I'm uncomfortable. That's allowed. He stood, pacing, working up heat the way some people work up a sweat. We ended amicably. Jesse and I are friends. You want to punish me for being mature. I want to be your girlfriend, not a spectator to your nostalgia. 20 minutes later, he walked into the bedroom with the self-righteous calm of someone who'd picked a side and dressed for it. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, a tweet. I'm not property. I'm a person with rights. No one gets to control who I talk to. Hashtag my body, my choice. Hashtag toxic femininity. Hashtag boundaries. A string of likes pooled under it. The comments were quick and familiar. King, protect your peace. Red flag if your girl can't handle you having friends. She sounds insecure. I read it twice, then once more for the echo. There's an arithmetic to humiliation. It multiplies when it's public. I opened the app, tapped the retweet icon, and typed a single line. Respecting your right to be single. Send. That was the first click. The second was the closet door. The third was the zipper on the duffel while his shower ran steady in the bedroom like a bad alibi. I packed with the precision I use for audits. Laptop, external hard drive, documents, passport, chargers, 2 days of clothes, toothbrush. I left the frame photos because I didn't want to carry the weight of pretending. On the counter, I placed the apartment key beside a short note. Rent's paid through the end of the month. After that, it's all you. A. I texted Carter, an old friend with a spare room and the kind of loyalty that doesn't need a speech. Can I crash a few days? His reply came before the typing dots appeared. Come through. By the time I reached the elevator, my phone rattled with the first wave. Luca. Are you seriously leaving over a tweet? Luca. Answer the phone. Luca. We need to talk like adults. Unknown. Hi, it's Marisol, Luca's mom. He told me you're upset. Relationships require compromise. Please don't blow up your life over one misunderstanding. I held the phone without opening the messages. The elevator doors slid shut like a curtain falling. Carter's place smelled like cinnamon and fresh paint. Maya, his girlfriend, opened the door and scanned my face, the bag on my shoulder, the tightness I hadn't realized I'd been carrying in my jaw. She's here, she called back, and she needs tea. Carter took my bag. No questions tonight, he said gently. Just bed. Tomorrow we build a plan. But plans have a way of arriving early. 2 hours later, the second wave hit. Luca. Okay, that was immature of me, but you're not being fair. We can talk about Jesse. Luca. Hello. The electricity is due tomorrow. Are you going to pay it? You always handle that stuff. I stared at that last line until it clarified. You always handle that stuff. The spreadsheets, the auto pays, the Wi-Fi login, the streaming services, the gym membership he borrowed because motivation hides behind other people's generosity. Independence draped in convenience. I typed, then erased, then typed again. I'm respecting your independence. You've got this. Send. The phone rang. 17 times across an hour. I turned it face down and listened to Maya move in the kitchen, the rounded clink of 2 mugs, the whisper of a kettle. When she set the tea beside me, she didn't touch me, didn't pry. Just sat across the room, a body witness saying, "You're not invisible." It's strange what you miss first when you leave. The dumb choreography of cohabitation, the way he always left the cabinet door ajar, the deodorant cap in the wrong room, the clothes folded into sharp rectangles I never asked to be thanked for. Competence is quiet, but when it's gone, the silence rings. I slept and dreamt in sentences. "You don't own me. I'm a person with rights." In the dream, the words were printed on a t-shirt he wore to bed. Morning arrived with the text from my landlord, Mr. Feld. "Got your email. We can discuss the lease today," which would have been impossible, except that I'd sent it in the thin hour before sleep, when panic becomes productivity. My proposal was simple. Let me assume the remainder alone or terminate early. I offered the security deposit without argument. Freedom is often priced in non-refundable terms. I called him back and laid out the facts. No recriminations, just math. He listened, intrigued by the part where I said, "on time for 2 years." He sighed. "To be candid, Avery, he was a challenge before you. Late rent, noise complaints. You stabilize the unit. If you want out, I'll allow early termination with 30 days' notice. Paperwork this afternoon?" "Paperwork this afternoon," I said, almost smiling. Relief is a shy animal. You don't move too fast, or it bolts. By noon, Luca had shifted tones. "Luca, you're being cruel. Canceling the Netflix while I'm in the middle of a series? Seriously?" Luca, "My trainer says the gym membership declined. That's psychotic." Luca, "Jesse says you're controlling and this proves it. I canceled the services I paid for because they were mine to cancel. Not punishment. Accounting. You want independence? It has line items. I kept the message simple. I close the accounts I fund. You are free to open your own." At 4 p.m. the mask cracked. "Luca, please don't end the lease. I can't front first-class security. I'll block Jesse. Is that what you want to hear? I'm sorry, okay? Apologies that name. The solution before the wound are negotiations, not remorse." I set the phone down and stared at the city through Carter's window, at the way light knows how to leave a building and still look beautiful doing it. When dusk fell, another buzz. This time, Maya answered the door. Luca stood there, eyes glossy, hair unbrushed, the manufactured innocence of a man auditioning for forgiveness. He tried to shoulder past, but Maya didn't move. She has ballet training. Balance is an argument her body knows how to win. "We need to talk," he said, looking over her shoulder at me. "Avery, you took it too far." "What did you mean by your tweet then?" I asked from the hall. "If I'm not allowed a boundary in private, I'm allowed a decision in public." "It was just a tweet." "Right," I said, "and this is just a choice." His face hardened. "You'll regret this. You can't just abandon your responsibilities." I thought of the key on the counter, the note, the auto-pays I'd turned off, the empty space where our pictures lived. "I'm not abandoning anything," I said. "I'm returning it to its rightful owner." Maya closed the door. The lock clicked. A small sound, a clean one. Somewhere inside, a bridge stopped trembling. And for the first time in months, the silence felt like safety instead of threat. Carter's couch had become a temporary border between my old life and whatever came next. I worked from there. Calls, invoices, the kind of spreadsheet work that calms the nervous system when emotions refuse to. But even calm needs breaks. Every time my phone buzzed, I flinched like an echo. By day 2, the narrative had changed. Not in real life, just online. Luca had gone on what his followers called a healing arc, a carousel post of selfies, half smiles under overexposed sunlight, captioned, "Learning to set boundaries." Some people call it selfish. I call it survival. #growth. Self-love. Toxic relationships. Independent man. Thousands of likes. Comments from mutual friends I hadn't realized we'd lost. The irony was almost artistic. I'd asked him for one private boundary, and he'd turned it into public theater. Then came the TikTok. A moody audio clip. Text on screen. "When they call you controlling just because you have female friends." Cut to him smirking in slow motion. Cut to Jesse's comment. "Preach." And then a flood of hearts and emojis. By the end of the night, my mentions looked like a crime scene. "She's the red flag. She can't handle a confident man. Now run, king." The algorithm had picked its victim and hero. Carter offered to report the posts. I told him no. Let them curate their version, I said. The truth doesn't need a hashtag. But my hands trembled while I said it. At midnight, another text came in. Luca, the electric bill's due. Are you really going to make me cover all of it? That's financial abuse. Financial abuse. The word hung in the air like bad perfume. He'd turned responsibility into a weapon. I typed slowly, deliberately. You said you wanted independence. I'm respecting that. Send. A minute later, 3 dots appeared, then vanished, then reappeared. He was typing rage into drafts. 2 mornings later, my phone lit with a new number. Marisol, his mother. Avery, sweetheart, I'm calling because I know you and Luca are having a misunderstanding. He's devastated. He said you're freezing him out financially and emotionally. Maybe you could apologize, clear the air. Apologize, I said softly. For what? For whatever made him feel this way. You know how men are, sometimes prideful, but they mean well. Her tone was syrup, but her words were rot. Marisol, I said, calm and sharp. Luca isn't destitute. He's employed. He's independent. I'm simply taking him at his word. A pause. Then, well, if you're leaving, could you at least pay your half of the rent until the lease ends? He can't afford Marisol, I interrupted. The rent's covered through this month. After that, the lease is being terminated. She gasped. You wouldn't make him homeless over a disagreement. No, I said. His choices did that. I just stepped out of the way. Click. By Thursday, Luca's tone had evolved into desperation. Luca, fine, you win. I blocked Jesse. Can we just move on? Luca, we can talk about therapy if that's what you want. Just come home. I didn't reply. I was at the leasing office signing my name under the words Early Termination Agreement. Mr. Feld slid the papers toward me. Shame, he said, not unkindly. You were the reliable one. Reliability, I said, signing the final line, isn't contagious. He chuckled and stamped the form. 30 days. You're clear. I lost a month's deposit, but it felt like buying air. When I got back to Carter's, Maya was scrolling her phone, face tight. Don't look, she warned, which of course meant I did. Jesse had posted a photo. 2 mugs, one hand, his hand, resting over hers. Caption, New beginnings. Luca had commented, Glad you're happy, friend. The comment section had theories. Theories that matched timestamps. Theories that made math out of betrayal. Carter leaned over my shoulder. You okay? Yeah, I said. I just realized I'm allergic to déjà vu. Friday, 6:04 p.m. A text again. Luca. The landlord says we have 30 days to move out. You can't just cancel like that. It's illegal. Jesse says he knows a lawyer. You'll hear from them. I typed, You're welcome to have your lawyer call Mr. Feld. He has the signed paperwork. Then silence. 2 hours. Then another ping. Luca. First plus last, plus security is $4,500. You know I don't have that. Please, Avery, don't do this. I'll make it right. I'll block Jesse for real this time. I'm sorry. That last line almost landed. Almost. Because sorry shouldn't have to compete with screenshots and hashtags. Because sorry doesn't erase humiliation on a public feed. Because sorry that comes with a condition is just bargaining in costume. That night, the power of distance began to show itself. I ate dinner without pacing, watched a movie without waiting for a notification, felt my body unclench in small increments, like thawing ice. But serenity doesn't trend. The next morning, Maya shoved her phone at me. You need to see this. Luca's latest post. When they take everything from you, home, peace, stability, but you still choose grace. Stay strong. Real men don't beg. Below it, a photo of our empty living room. My framed print still on the wall, the key glinting on the counter, exactly where I'd left it. He'd staged my absence as tragedy art. The comments were predictable. She'll regret it. No woman leaves a good man without another lined up. Stay winning, King. I scrolled once, twice, then stopped. If you let outrage drive, it never parks. I closed the app. Instead, I opened the Notes app and typed one line. Boundaries aren't cruelty. Silence isn't surrender. Saved it. Locked the screen. 3 days later, Carter found a studio for me downtown. Small, sunlit, quiet. When I saw it, I knew. The walls smelled like primer and possibility. The rent was half of what I'd paid before. Freedom sometimes costs less than partnership. As we signed the papers, Maya grinned. You're officially unsubscribed. That night, moving boxes stacked like punctuation, I looked out the window. Somewhere across town, Luca was probably still refreshing his notifications. Somewhere, Jesse was probably liking his posts. Somewhere, Marisol was probably drafting another guilt text she'd never send. And me, I was just breathing. It was such a simple act, but after months of tiptoeing around someone else's chaos, it felt like luxury. The next morning, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Hey, Avery, this is Jesse. I didn't realize you and Luca were still together when we started talking again. He told me you two had broken up months ago. I'm really sorry. I'm blocking him. Just thought you should know. I stared at the message, half expecting it to evaporate. Instead, I felt something unexpected. Not anger, not relief. Just closure, clean and quiet. I typed back, "Thank you, take care of yourself," and pressed send. Then I deleted Luca's number, not out of rage, out of respect for myself. That evening, as I unpacked a final box, I found an old photo, Luca and me on a beach, both squinting into the wind. For a moment, I remembered the good, the laughter, the lazy Sunday pancakes, the plans we made when words still meant something. Then I flipped the photo over, on the back in his handwriting, "To the woman who makes me better." I set it in the trash. Because some people don't make you better. They just make you smaller and call it love. The message came 2 weeks later, a small blue bubble on a Sunday morning that started quiet. Catherine. "Hey, Luca's been really down. He asked if you'd meet him for coffee. Just to talk, get closure. He said he wants to return some of your stuff." Catherine had always been the peacekeeper. Soft voice, messy empathy. Still, I hesitated. Closure was just an invitation to reopen the wound. But then she added, "He's really trying, Avery. He even started therapy." So I said yes, but I didn't go alone. Carter came with me, pretending to check emails from the corner table, the quiet kind of insurance you only need once. The cafe smelled like apologies. Cinnamon, burnt espresso, and the stale sweetness of someone trying to fix what's already collapsed. Luca was early, of course he was. He sat at the far table, wearing the cologne I'd once bought him, the one that smelled like storms over clean linen. A small box sat on the table, taped shut. He stood when he saw me. "Hey," I nodded. For a second, the silence softened. Then he launched in. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," he began, voice carefully measured. "I know I messed up. Jessie meant nothing. I blocked her everywhere. I even started therapy." He smiled, practiced humility in every syllable. "I'm willing to work on myself, if you'll give me another chance." I waited for the part where my heart would flinch. It didn't. Instead, I felt a kind of stillness, like my body had already decided before my mouth did. "Luca," I said quietly, "I appreciate the apology, but I've moved on." He blinked, confusion sharp and bright. "Moved on? It's been 2 weeks. You already found someone else, didn't you?" "No. I don't believe that. No one leaves unless they've got a backup plan. Who is he?" "There isn't anyone," I said. "There's just me." He laughed, bitter and sudden. "Bullshit. Women don't just focus on themselves, they replace." His voice had turned loud enough that the barista looked up. Carter shifted in his seat, alert. "Luca," I said, low but steady, "you're proving every reason I left." He slammed his palm against the table. "You think you're better than me now? Because you pay your bills and post your little quotes about boundaries?" People were watching now. He grabbed the box, tore it open, and dumped its contents onto the floor. My old watch, 2 books, a t-shirt. "Keep your crap," he spat. "You ruined my life." I crouched to pick them up slowly, one by one. Each motion a choice not to match his chaos. "You're 28, I said softly, "living in the same apartment you turned into a battleground. That's not my fault." "You made me lose everything." "No," I said. "You traded everything for validation." He froze, chest heaving. The anger didn't have anywhere left to go. I stood, met his eyes, and spoke the words that had been sitting in me for weeks. "You keep saying I ruined your life, Luca, but you did that when you decided being right mattered more than being kind." Carter appeared at my side then, hand on my arm. "We're done here." We left him standing there, surrounded by the wreckage of his own performance. Outside, the air hit cold and clean. I exhaled, realizing I hadn't really breathed the entire time. "Are you okay?" Carter asked. "I think so," I said. "I think this was the last time he gets to narrate my story." A week later, I got a message request on Instagram from Jesse. The first line read, "Hey, I owe you an apology." I hesitated before opening it, then curiosity won. He told me you two had been broken up for months. I never would have talked to him otherwise. When I found out the truth, I blocked him. I just wanted to say you didn't deserve that." I smiled faintly. It wasn't vindication. It was symmetry. The universe closing a loop. I typed back, "Thanks for saying that. Take care of yourself, Jesse. Send." Then I deleted the thread. The days began to fill themselves. Work felt easier. My emails were shorter. No one was sighing behind me about dinner plans or demanding I prove my affection through explanations. In the quiet, I started hearing my own voice again. Sometimes it said nothing profound, just small things. "You're safe. You did the hard part. Keep going." A month later, I scrolled past one of Luca's posts by accident. A mirror selfie. Caption, "New era, no regrets." The comment section was quieter this time. The algorithm had found a new tragedy to feed on. I didn't block him. I didn't like it either. I just kept scrolling, the truest kind of indifference. One Friday evening, I stood on my balcony, phone in hand, sunset folding over the city. For the first time, I didn't need to document the moment. There was no audience left to perform for, just air, fading light, and the hum of traffic that didn't know my name. Sometimes peace isn't loud. Sometimes it's just the absence of panic, the sound of your own heart, finally unedited. It's been 3 months now. I'm in therapy, the good kind, the quiet kind. I started running again. Work promoted me to lead consultant. My studio's lease has my name alone, written in ink that no one else can erase. Every once in a while, I still think about Luca. Not with anger, not with longing, just curiosity. Like remembering a storm and realizing you survived it. He used to say, "You don't own me." And now I finally understand. I never wanted to. I just wanted partnership that didn't require losing myself. So when people ask if I regret how it ended, I tell them the truth. I don't own him. I own my peace.